Good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, and welcome to episode 49 or 50. Can't really remember, truth be known, of the UK Pinball Chinwag. That time is approaching. The time is approaching. Pinfest time, everybody's favourite time of the year, unless you're a child looking forward to Christmas, in which case, probably your second favourite time of the year. I've got a guest with me today, and no Spencer. Spencer's off doing his Michael Palin, Phileas Fogg, Alan Wicker, Traveller. He's you could barely call him British, really. Spend so little time here. The person I've got with me is a young lady who I first met at the last Pinfest. And the first time I met her, I was walking into the restaurant for the breakfast. I think it's the eat all you want. I think, is it eat all you want or eat all you can? Whatever. They're not the same thing, I've decided, by the way. It was the eat all you want breakfast. And there I was lining up. And she said, "Oi, you! I've seen your pinball show, whatever your YouTube thing. Would you like to come and sit down here?" And I did, and I sat down with her, and she was very nice. And I sat down with. Now I've got to get the full name. I don't know the full name. I'm going to go with Scottish Pinball Federation. I know it's not, but it sounds good, doesn't it? So I sat down with all these lovely, lovely people. I then bumped into her in the hall as well, and she insisted that I wear a name badge to identify everybody from the forum, which I thought was a really, really good idea. And then she then gave me something to eat, and she's since told me that she's a feeder, and I know she actually is. And then, as she might remember this, every time I saw her after that, she was either giving someone a cake or eating a cake, and she's right here now. You'll all know who it is. It's Ailsa. How are you?
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You?
I probably was eating the cake. That was.
You were eating cake and feeding people cake.
Yeah, and tablet as well. I usually bring down lots of.
Yeah, but that has different connotations. I thought I must have been looking a little bit ill because I walked past your stand where you ran the the NBA from, and you clearly had a little stash of food underneath, right? And as I walked past, you said, "You want some tablet?" And I thought, "Oh my, do I look ill? Maybe I was it paracetamol?"
All right. Or do you think I was selling drugs or something?
No, I thought I was ill. I thought I might need anti-inflammatory or something. So, but no, I do it. It's like Kendall mint cake tablet, isn't it?
It's the Scottish version of Kendall mint cake, and usually, and I don't eat very much of it, but believe it or not, it's too sickly sweet, and it is a bit like diabetes, instant diabetes. It's pure sugar, but sometimes at night it's if you're lagging a wee bit, if you've had a few beers, etc. It just gives you a wee burst of energy, and it's very tiring playing lots of pinball all day and
It is.
stuff
It
like that.
is.
Really sore feet and your arms, and you're talking too much to everybody because it's so exciting to see them, and your head's nipping with all the noise and everything. So I usually give it out during stall ball in the queue to give everyone that extra reason of sugar rush so they can be up for it. It's the Scottish Pinball Association, and the reason I remember that is it took us forever to think of a name. We are basically just copying Northern.
It's Spa.
Well, actually, also, see when we wear our lanyards, the way we've done the T-shirts, it looks like Scottish Pinball Ass.
Quite right, so.
The association that seems to be hidden. Where I tell people we did it deliberately, but it was pure accident. But we did try to think of a name for ages, and we had all sorts of problems. So that's what we came up with. But basically, we were copying Northern Lights Pinball. Their kind of formation, etc., and what they do, putting on shows, etc. We were doing a lot of Play Glasgow, so we had to get ourselves together and get a bank account and things like that. So that's where that came from.
This is sparse here. This is not a particularly good resolution. I could do better than that.
Up, yes, you'll see a special guest in there. And there's a few lads from Northern Lights Pinball, which we absolutely need. The four of us in the Scottish Pinball Association don't have the technical knowledge or the engineering knowledge and electrical knowledge to keep things going. Basic things we can cover, but anything special, we need the likes of Mark and Darren and Chris and Dave Simpson, etc.
There you go. That's a better.
Yeah, and you can see Colin's special guest at the back.
I'm not being funny, right? I got this wrong. Is that the one out of The Walking Dead?
Yes, it's Maggie.
Oh, she's very nice, isn't she?
It's Colin's favourite. He seemed to.
I don't blame him. He's got good taste, doesn't he?
I know. I worry about him. He bought that for himself, I think.
Well, don't worry about him. She might not run off with him. But overly worry about it.
Yeah, as well. So I had to retaliate and buy Harrison Ford, and a Han Solo and Darth Vader and stuff. So we usually bring them to show. And once we'd formed to do the Play Glasgow one, we've done that for about 4 years now, putting on a show with about 40 pins, just a bit like Play Manchester and a bit like NERG. And certainly we're supported by the NLP and Phil Murphy as well. They all come up with some pins for us, and we put on 40 pins.
That's Pinfest, isn't it? That's Pinfest.
Yeah, that's Pinfest. That was.
We'll talk about. Is that Diane?
Yes, it is. She won second or third or something.
We'll get to that in a minute. There's Chris winning his best in show. So okay, let's go. Let's reverse. Let's go back. How did you get into pinball?
It was my husband. When I met him, one of our first couple of dates, he took me along to it was a pool lounge, and there were several pins in there in Glasgow, and one of them was the Adams family, and him and his mates were always sort of going and playing pinball, and he introduced me to his friends. Must have been serious at this point, and we started playing Adam's Family, and he was sort of teaching me how to play it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was quite a slow burner. It took me quite a while to get into it. I basically, I think it was about, it wasn't till his 50th birthday, which would have been 2007, and I really was searching what to get him, and I thought I'll get my pinball machine. Now, I think he thought it was going to be a pool table, and he didn't want the pool table because we didn't have enough room as such for that. But we had a party, and I bought Indiana Jones, the Williams, from I think it was a father and a son in Blackpool, and it was on eBay, and I bid to get it, and I won the bid, and it got delivered the night of his 50th. So all his friends were here, and then. Wow. He woke up the next morning and they had put it up for us in the garage. And he did hear something at the door, and he thought, oh, that's that. She's got a pool table for me.
Bloody pool table, yeah.
And he was delighted. And the reason I got Indiana Jones was because it was one that was affordable, and it was one I'd heard of before. And I think I'd seen one before in one of the pubs that he'd went to. I knew he liked the theme. But it's the Indiana Jones, the Williams one, it's really heavy and big. And
it's that wide body, isn't it?
And again, I still didn't really get involved too much. It was his toy to play with. And as everyone on the forum knows, we've now got 7. It just grew. But again, I wasn't really into playing it very much myself. I think I was on and off in about 10 seconds most times, just kept draining the ball, etc. It took me a while to get into it, and this is where the ladies tournament comes up, I think, and I know we're going to talk about that too. But the first couple of times I was at Pinfest, I just kind of sat at the bar, and and it was through talking to a few other people that I got encouraged to actually go on and join. But I used to be in the pool, I used to get my nails done, I went for a massage, I read my book in the courtyard. I met a couple of other women and sitting out there, and we talked initially about these daft men of ours, but then we started getting in and actually joining in some of the things, especially some of the competitions. I'd always want to contribute some money towards it, so I'd go in and have my shot, but eventually I started getting quite interested in it. So I've now owned 3, I think. I own 3 of my own, and Colin owns 4.
How does that work? How's that divvied up in the household then?
Well, you'll say they're all his because he maintains them and stuff, but I think it's more that I picked the 3 that I kind of say is mine.
And what are they?
It's the Arena.
Yeah.
John Parkins, JMP, and the forum. He helped me get that.
Okay, yeah.
That came from
Yes,
Croatia.
yes, of course. Yes, absolutely know who that is. Yeah.
He had one, and I played it a few times at his. And the gimmick, I like gimmicks. You see, I'm more of a fond of EMs or particular gimmicks in pinball. I'm not very competitive at all. Well, one, because I'm rubbish, but two, I can never ever remember every rule of every pinball. I can remember a few, but it's more the toys and the gimmicks for me. I love Jurassic Park. See when the T-Rex comes and takes the ball, that makes me laugh. So does Thing, the hands coming in. The Teenage Mutant Turtles, when all the balls start joining together and go round. Darren Ball's got one, the Pinball Magic, I think, and the ball goes along the wand and the top hat and everything. These are the machines I really like that have got lots of gimmicks and do crazy things. Cactus Canyon with the farting, and Champion Pub with
I thought that was just Spencer. I didn't even know it was the machine.
And and then the Champion Pub with the wee rope and getting the ball over the rope. These are the things I love. And then somehow I remember, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be trying to hit hours flashing and getting the scores, etc. Whereas I'm aiming to get something to move. The police force when the wee helicopter, all these things.
Yes, yeah, of course.
I really like. So Arena, John Parkins had one, and I loved it because the skill shot at the start, the ball can go into either 3 different holes at the top.
Okay.
But it goes round in a circle for ages, and then it sort of goes like this, and you don't know what hole it's going to go down. But if you get the top hole, it's 1,000,000 points. And even if you don't get that, a really good score on it is 500,000 maybe. So getting that skill shot, you've won the game if you get it 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know this. I'll have to. Yeah, okay. Are you bringing that with you?
It's really good fun, and I mean it's a good machine. I like it, but that skill shot to me, just the first plunge, and then you're it's going to go in. It's not. And if you've got friends around and you're drinking a lot of beer, it's very funny. You could be shouting and bawling at each other. So I do like that. And I've got to put in here, because they'll be so disappointed if I don't. There's a lot of luck to it. And like I beat Auntie Foster on it, and Wayne Jones and people like that on it. So I had to buy it. I had to pay me for it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it was a guy from Antoine, I think his name was, it was just before COVID, and it came from Croatia. He shopped it up for me. It was on Pinball Informers. That is that right? The name of the website. And John Patterson said he located it for me and shipped it over for me, and I went to collect it. So that was my first one. The second one I bought was Ski Jump, and that was at last year's Pinfest.
Ski Jump?
Ski Jump, yeah. It's John Bateson's or Biff on the forum. It's one of the best looking pinballs, the actual playfield. It's just absolutely amazing. It's so, clean and precise. And
are you bringing these?
Yes.
Oh, you'd have to show me then. You'd have to show me.
And it's an EM, and I just love the sound of it, and just the old-fashioned buzzers and bells. And again, for someone like myself, there's a bit of luck sometimes, I think, to them. And I like being a cheeky player sometimes, where
What's a cheeky player?
I get a good bit of luck sometimes.
Okay.
And I can do really quite well, but not on the Newer or Stern or anything like that. I'm rubbish at any of them, but if I know a simple playfield, I can keep the ball in for quite a while, usually, as opposed to hitting the flashing lights. So I call it a bit cheeky sometimes. I'll challenge the name. So John Bateson had made this, sold this, so I've got that one. And just recently I bought a Time Warp. I keep calling it Time Wrap for some reason. I have no idea. It's
Time Warp.
I know. I don't know. So it's Time Warp, and it's
the same letters, to be fair, isn't it?
It's just getting mixed up. I don't normally get my letters all mixed up or anything, but I keep doing for this one. And we took it to Nerg for the first time, and we're hoping to take it to Pinfest as well. It's the one that comes with the banana shaped flippers, but we don't have the banana flippers at the bottom. It's quite unusual.
No, I don't know that. I don't know the machine but a big gap in my knowledge with older machines, certainly. But I do like them. And actually, funny enough, I've decided after sort of a year of doing this channel, the best machines to film people playing are either the old solid state or the EM machines, because the games are quick. You don't need to, when you're filming it, explain the rules to anybody. As you say, a good player can have a crap game. They level it up a little bit, and they are actually quite exciting. So actually for videos, they actually make the best video rather than, I don't know, someone being filmed scoring 20 billion points. So,
hold my chest a lot more. And I didn't particularly go for this theme. We had problems with Indiana Jones, and we were fixing it, and we had promised Phil at NERG 10 machines, and we were down one. So Ronnie from Carnoustie was selling this, so we bought it to technically fill a space. But I'm now liking it. It's good condition, and it's I think I'll get the banana flippers. Just the shape of bananas.
You're going to get the authentic flippers for me.
I've got gimmicks. I'm into these wee things, and my husband, he's into everything's got to be LED'd. He LEDs all this stuff, and it's like a retina burn when you're playing some of his machines, but or else he's into the toppers and stuff like that, and if he likes to make his own up and stuff.
I like his machines and your machines. I'm quite liking this, and that you're different in that.
Well, he got after that. It was his 60th. No, I got Batman Dark Knight for him for his 60th, and I got that off Tony Malloy. From Medway Pinball Club. It was at a show a few years ago in Manchester. He had brought it and he was selling it. And it's my husband's 60th coming up, and he loves Batman. He's got Batman cars and toys. And he's
Colin's got cars and okay, because Tony also
loves Batman. So I got him that, and that was a big secret. That was funny because I think everyone at Play Manchester knew that I had bought it, but Colin. And Tony gave it to the NLP guys. I think it was Darren and Mark and Toybug that took it and hid it for about 6 months. And then on the day of his party, they arrived, and I'd got rid of him for a few hours, and we were putting a tent up and a marquee up and stuff for his birthday, and they put the pinball up. And there's a video somewhere of him walking in, and just the tears went far away when he saw what his birthday present was. And of course I'm on my 4th vodka, so I didn't video it at all. But there is a video somewhere of him being absolutely.
You didn't do the old pool table routine for his 60th.
No. He got. I think he was thrown seeing that there was guys up from England who had come up for his birthday, and he didn't know he was having a party. So when he saw the marquee and then he saw his friends starting to arrive, and he was really touched.
It was the English people. That's what made him start going, oh God, not that lot.
And really touched that they'd come the distance. And then, then to find out he'd been given another pinball of a favourite theme of his, he was quite emotional that night. It was quite funny. And he's got Metallica as well. That was bought of Darren. And can't remember what the 7th one is. Can't remember. We hold the NBAs as well. We usually store them for the NLP guys. What's what I'm missing out? You had X-Files. Oh, I can't remember. There's another one.
So the NBAs are not your machines?
No.
Okay.
No.
So they're from Northern Lights Pinball. They
own 3 of them, and we've been storing 2. They're usually just tombstoned down in our garage. Because we did have room initially, and it was good when we only had 1 or 2, and it was good for them because they lent us a few just like the no good gophers. We got that from Darren. There was a few others we had, and Eric Ridley as well as an operator up here, along with Barry Parsons. I think they supply a lot of the Brewdog pinballs.
Sure.
And he would store a few with us because the garage we converted into a games room and got it all insulated, etc. And for a while it was just X-Files, that's what he had, and Indiana Jones sitting there, so we could store others, but also we could put them up and play. And that's why we came to have the NBAs, and we were storing the 3, and then we're just down to the 2 that we were storing for a while. But yes, they all belong to various people in the Northern Lights Pinball.
Well, it's a fascinating thing to see, the NBA. So just for people that don't know, you link two machines up. NBA clearly is. I always assume that nobody knows anything, so people can go to sleep at this bit. You already know NBA is clearly a basketball game. The difference between this and other games is you link them.
Yes, we always had 3, so there was 1 spare in case any problems happened during a league. We were storing them, and we were putting on our first show in Braehead Arena for Play Glasgow, and asked Northern Lights Pinball if I could do a wee kind of mini league. It was their initiative. They did it for years, way back 2010 at the first couple of shows. That was one of the competitions I went into. I think they were only charging £5 or £10. It was good fun. There was a bit of banter. There is a wee story behind the trophies on this that I'll come back to. But it was their baby basically, and they did it for ages. And then more recently at Pinfest, they were one of the blue Smurfs, if you want. They were very busy keeping all the machines going and fixing it, etc. So I had asked, would they mind if I
there you go, blue Smurf in the background there.
Yes, there you go. The blue Smurfs, that's all the most of them are the NLP guys. So they didn't really have the time to do it because it takes quite a bit of time. But in Glasgow shows, we did it just, and it was we were quite a wee bit behind in Scotland, I think. There's a few owners that have masses of pins, quite a few of them, but we didn't have shows, and there was hardly any places to go. There is a few now. And our Scottish League, which is also as part of the UK League, I think we had about 12 players, coming along, and we've now recruited, I think, about 10 others in the last couple of years, so it's getting bigger and bigger.
How often do you meet up for that?
We only meet up 4 times a year because we don't have hosts.
Yeah.
There's only 4 hosts at the moment, really.
Sure. So quarterly event.
Used to host, but he's been working lots recently, and Eric Ridley. But there's myself and Colin, and there's Chris Edgar really up in Dundee that have people into their homes. And over the last year, we've had them in a couple of pubs, in the Mousetrap in Edinburgh and George Black's place, Super Barrio. I always get this wrong. Super Barrio in King Street in Glasgow. He's got about 9 pinball machines, but it's a bar as well.
Sure.
So we're recruiting more people. We've got quite a few women that have joined on their own. Not, as I say, on their own, not coming along because they want to know what their husband's up to.
That's really good. Yes, it's really good.
So, we've recruited quite a lot of people in the last year after COVID. I think people have been discovering ways to occupy themselves, and we've had masses of new recruits. I would say there's about 40 people now. 30 or 40 add up that are playing. But again, we're kind of stuck for hosts, and I'm always looking for new places because I'd like to go up north as well. So in Scotland, when you're going to the league, you're talking about a 3-hour journey for most folk anyway to get there, because it's west and north. It's not just in one area. It's not like Strathclyde or just in Edinburgh area. But hopefully we'll get there. And we've got a lot more going to Pinfest this year from Scotland than we've ever had. So there's going to be a good turnout there. So the NBAs we did at Play Glasgow again. Sorry if I'm going too fast, but the Scottish Pinball Association was asked to put on a show there, and it's myself and Colin and Chris and Tracy Edgar, and we've got Robin Lee who helps with the website, and we put on a show there, and we did the NBA, and it was amazing. It was really good, and people who've never played pinball before were asking for it the year after, and in the year after we were getting phone calls, and we get more confident about running it and actually the kind of league run and stuff. So we're doing it again at Pinfest. So it will be 2 pins, and I've got to say at this point, there is no way you can get 2 pinballs being exactly the same. So we do the coin toss, and you can take a chance of which one you pick. But I've seen people playing and winning on both, because someone always says that one's slightly faster or that one, but actually I've seen players, having a bit of luck in that, both of them, and winning both of them. But this year, Phil Palmer from Pinball Heaven has offered to shop them up and get them
fantastic,
singing and dancing. So they're with him at the moment, and Chris Brimicum is doing all the replacement parts and getting
it'll be tip top then, won't it?
And they're doing it free of charge,
Fantastic.
Chris, which is amazing. I mean, we're so grateful. Northern Lights Pinball and Scottish Pinball Association are really, really chuffed that they're doing this. Because if anyone can get them, all singing and all shining, it'll be Chris.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So hopefully they'll be very, very, very similar. But again, there'll always be one maybe that's just slightly sharper, perhaps, but it can change. It depends what kind of pinball player you are. So we do the coin toss. We usually have referees. Colin is the referee and Darren Ball, and with Jeff the ref.
Yes, Jeff is he stripy? He's striped. I'm trying to look. I'm not trying to look actually at the moment. If you think I am listening to you, I'm just trying to see if I've got any pictures of it here. But sorry, do carry on.
Oh yeah, at the forum, they kind of come out with the pinball kind of sayings, no, and the call outs for all the different pins when you're playing. Chris Edgar, he does the computer stuff, so it's 24 players, and it's very like the football. You get split into 6 leagues if you want, of 4 teams.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a 5 this year again. It might go up a wee bit. I don't know, just to cover the costs of it. But the 4 players in each league will play each other 3 times. That's right. So there's
okay. So four players in each. Yes. Okay. Yes.
6
sure.
games in each league. So there's 36 games on the first day. And the person that wins the top place player will go on to the quarterfinal, and the top 2 highest losers. So there's 8. So there's the winner of each league will go through to the quarterfinal, and the top 2 losers make it 8 to go into the quarterfinal, and that'll be the Sunday.
I just want to make the point, actually, because it's easy to sort of, again, just to drag it back to Misty issue. You are playing a head-to-head game. The 2 machines are linked. There's a basketball pinball machine up here, and there's a basketball pinball machine over here. I'm desperately trying to find some footage of it. I think I've got some now, which I'm going to...
at the back that links, so the 2 scores are up.
Absolutely, but it's counting them, so it's almost like you are playing a proper sporting event here. And it's keeping score, and they're both there. So and the idea is to basically to shoot baskets. There's a little basket, isn't there? And you're trying to flip the pinball machine in the basket. Which I think I'm just gonna try to. Let's just see if this works here. I wasn't expecting to do this, so I've had to try and do this on the fly. Let's just have a little look here. So those 2 competitive chaps are basically playing live, real time against each other. And there's a point, I believe it's half time, when the play goes from the play field up into the back box, which is what's happening there, right?
I think you're Colin and Callum, Jeff the ref going up to the back box, and you're shooting up there. So yeah, I mean, NLP, when they did it, they managed to squeeze more people in, but they would do the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But there's only a few of us, and it's quite exhausting getting 36 games in the Saturday. Sure. So at the moment it's limited to so many players. We would love to have more. And they used to have, you got the name of a basketball team. So you actually had your colours on or your badges on, and it wasn't like Ailsa Clooney up there. It would be such and such it was all the American names of the teams, etc. They were much more organised, and they've got the whistle and the referee and the coin and stuff like that. It's meant to be good fun. It is meant to be fun. There's a lot of banter. If you're playing your mates as well, I mean, it will be available to play on the Friday night and the Saturday night, just with your mates. No, not the Friday night, it's the ladies tournament, but in the Saturday night and, other times they'll be able, and Saturday morning probably. So you can play your mates with it, and, it's a good laugh, because you'll get people trying to put each other off, and the shout outs, etc. But Phil has realised that at the finals and stuff last year, there was people who couldn't really hear or see. So he's putting us into one of the side rooms. So just as you leave the main room in Pinfest, as if you're going up to the bedrooms,
yes,
or going to the smoking area.
Yes.
There's a wee corridor. So in one of them, there'll be the classics. I think Sean's grabbed the biggest room, I think. to do the classics,
Yeah.
and we're in another room. So we're going to try and get much more of a basketball type energy in there. We've got big foam fingers, and we're going to have a lot of the shout outs, and we'll have the screen up so you can see where you are and who you're playing.
Super, that's brilliant.
We'll get some American call outs, etc. I'll see if I can get Colin to be a bit of a cheerleader, get him a wee skirt on or something. And yeah, we've got the bunting up and stuff like that as well. So it'll be in there, and hopefully we can get a wee crowd for the final and cheer your pals on and stuff. So recruiting or getting signed up is always difficult because there's only 24 players this year. And we would like to change that, but it would mean shortening the experience, because at the moment it's set up for 3 minutes, I think, per game. So that's something we can maybe look at for future to get much more people in. And last year we did sort of taking 12 names on the Friday, then 12 names on the Saturday to make it fair, but it just we fell short a wee bit. So I don't know, we're still discussing how best to do it. So, because I think there's maybe about 40 people wanting to play. So
yeah,
we're
for sure, yeah.
Maybe think about putting things into a hat or something to make things fair for people. And I also want to give the forum people the best, opportunity who are coming to be on that. But at the same time, someone coming for the first time, it might be, I don't know, it's a hard one.
You can't please everyone. What is the most restrictive part of it? Because I take it you don't really want to spend a whole of Pinfest in a room anyway. You want to go and enjoy all the other sort of festivities and the games and the social aspect of it as well.
And the Friday night we're having a ladies competition, so Chris and Colin, we can go out and play with other pins. And on the Saturday, the four of us will be in that room, and so the VIP at night will be able to come out and play. And on the Sunday morning we're having the children's one. I think we're going to make it under 14s or something, or under 12s. I'm not quite sure, because last year it was a couple of the weird kids that were just really, really having great fun, but were kind of getting knocked out really, really quickly. I think it was Ethan was one of them. He had done really well the year before, so we thought we'll do a wee one for the kids. So we'd get stools and stuff for them, to get up there. And it was actually won by Daniel Vince, Matt Vince's son. He's just so it's just a wee sweet thing for the Sunday morning, and it lets our parents sit there if they're hungover, and let the younger
give them some tablet.
I know, give them some tablet, that'll cure it, definitely, that and iron brew. And so the children's one will be on the Sunday morning. We'll get our act together and announce it all in the forum before then how we're doing it.
So exactly. How many pins are you taking down there in total, did you say?
We're taking 10. Chris Edgar is taking 3, I think, or maybe two or three, depending what he's got ready. He's having a few problems with one of them, believe it or not. As usual, everyone's getting all in good condition. He usually brings a picture from the Black Lagoon, and he usually brings what's the other two? God, I'm just in from work, you can tell. I'm brain dead. I think he's got Taxi, and he's got Bram Stoker's Dracula. And that's the 3 he usually brings. He's also got the new Jurassic Park.
Has he? I think when I saw him last time, he might have been about to buy a Guns N' Roses. I might be wrong.
No, I said Jurassic Park. It's a Guns N' Roses. I'm talking rubbish. Sorry.
Okay. I know more than you do.
Oh my goodness, it's a Guns N' Roses.
Maybe I should be a member of Sparse.
No. See, this is me, brain dead in from work. So it's a Guns N' Roses he's got, which is it's just amazing machine, absolutely brilliant. In fact, Eric the Ridley, who's Paisley Pinball, he might lend us one for a couple of days.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's promised us one.
So whereabouts? So Chris is in Dundee, is that right?
Yes.
And where are you?
We're in Cumbernauld.
Where?
Cumbernauld. It's between Glasgow and Stirling.
Okay.
Glasgow postcode, but we're right slap bang in the middle. And I'm always saying to people that we've met in our English and Welsh community and Irish community, every time you're in Scotland, because we're right next to a train station, which takes you into Glasgow 20 minutes and 20 minutes into Stirling, or 40 minutes into Edinburgh. We're right in the centre of Scotland. So it's quite handy for Glasgow, especially. So yeah, Cumbernauld, it's a bit of a dump, I think.
Well, I'm sure it's not. But no, look, well, to be fair, you sound like you must have a palace there if you've got. So what have you? You've got 3 pinball machines. Colin's got 4. Have you still not got room for a pool table?
No pool table, no, definitely not. And I'm definitely into pinball now. I definitely play now. I do enter all the competitions. I'm the one that goes up with my trainer, play my 3 games and walk back. The walk of shame, you know. I
Yes.
just like to put money into the different comps and have a shot. I'm not competitive. I found it sometimes a wee bit intimidating in the competitions. I'm not so much now, but I used to think people would be thinking I'm wasting a space.
Oh,
You know,
no.
I used to feel that, and I much prefer things like the classics and the EMs.
Yeah, well, I'm entered into the classics machine. I mean, my experience of it, seeing a lot of the top players want people to join the tournaments. They would rather win a tournament with 100 people in it than with 30 people in it, and which is rightly so as well.
I totally respect people in the pinball. I think pinballs, there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know, there's room for the really competitive people. Totally admire them. And some of them are so good, and I'm delighted that Andy Foster's doing well when he goes abroad. I love the fact that there's a UK representation in all these other competitions. I'm more there for the bar and talking and having fun with some of the pins. And that's fine. I think there's room for everyone. I like to have a shot of the new machines. I like to see the gadgets and the things that move and surprise me. You'll hear me giggling to myself, when I discover something happening. I mean, that last year I was on the foyer at night, and it was a teenage.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, in the lobby. Yeah.
I mean, I just was laughing my head off. I just thought, who thinks of these things? This is brilliant.
Yeah, but you've got to be inventive.
The kind of magnetic bit when it goes across, and
what bit's that?
The Dracula bit, the magnetic bit.
Oh yeah, the mist, isn't it? The mist.
All the call-outs are funny, and the themes and stuff. We try and Colin's got a Metallica topper that's pretty good, but when he likes to get all the gadgets, he likes to get the skull for the pullback and
the mods.
It gets all the mods. Yeah. We had Spider-Man for a while, and I've got this big mechanical spider that comes running out at you when you're playing. And I was talking to Jeff, actually, and a few others at Swavesey, and we were talking about some of the other things you could do to the machines. Like when you were playing Pirates of the Caribbean, you've got to put a pirate's eye on. When you're playing
that's quite restrictive, though, right? For your balance.
Of course. Parties on, you've got to put the drink goggles on. Brides of Pinball, you've got to put a veil on. All these different handicaps. I think it's Pinball Olympics. So we talked to a few people about some of the funner side of things. You know how you get the Addams Family chair?
Yes, I've seen the thing. Yeah, Ian showed me. Yeah,
the drink goggles are good fun. And they've and Funhouse, I think for a while they were reversing the flippers. So you were hitting the left flipper and the right flipper was going.
Well, there's a game that's got that. I can't think what it is now. I should know. I've even had it in the house. I think where the flippers reverse. And then somebody said you do that on it. You switch your arms over. I can't for the life. Someone put it in the comments. I can't. In the end, but my technique was to actually hit both flipper buttons at the same time. So that was my way around it.
Fishtails, you get squirted with water when you're playing it, or some, obviously away from electrics. I just so we have a laugh doing these kind of things, and we like we've had quite a few competitions at home where you've got a flipper each and you're playing with a partner.
I love that
and stuff, and that's don't just partner with your partner though. As in don't go with Colin because he
oh no. Domestic
no.
rows.
If you're a strange person or somebody you're not romantically linked with, because they give you a row and you miss one.
It would be weird if you're at Pinfest and you were rejecting lots of people because you were romantically linked to them, wouldn't it? That'd make for a good Pinfest, to be fair. Just tell us a little bit about Nerg, because you did go down for Nerg, didn't you? Which is obviously where the photo was from.
I always go to Nerg, North East Retro Gaming. That's Phil Murphy's show in Newcastle. It's more of a he always kind of throws it as a more of a social. It is quite a social. There's no particular competition there, apart from with yourself. I think there's a competition with the arcades, so it's lots of arcades. The old arcades. James Windle takes all his stuff, our GP, and we take about 40 pinballs. So that's Northern Lights Pinball and a few others bring along their pride and joy, and we take down 10. Although this year was a disaster for us. We had hired a lorry, a Luton, to take down, and myself and Paul had got the wrong dates. We found out at Swabsy we put Nerg a week later than it should, or a week earlier. So we had hired this lorry that wasn't particularly good, wasn't the original one we had planned. And on the way down, it broke down at Abington. No. And we could only get a replacement van without a tail lift. And we're in the middle of nowhere, and we had to go and get this taxi, £60 to go and get this other Luton and bring it to. Listen, there's people sighing as they hear this, because I did mention it a lot. I mentioned different.
This is like Uncle Albert and the War and Only Fools and Horses, is it?
Okay. I mentioned an awful lot, and it was we had to go back and get this other van, and we got one which didn't have a tail lift. So I was trying to fuss and help Colin take all these pins out this Luton into this smaller Enterprise van which didn't have a tail lift, and I was on the tail lift, and I fell over my own feet, and I fell from the tail lift and landed on my head. And that's what I'm saying. Everyone heard about this. I got concussion, right? But I was so concussed, I didn't know I had concussion. I was sitting in this road vomiting and place going dizzy, and Colin had to move all these pinballs without a pinball lift himself. So we didn't get to Nerg till about 11:30 or something on the Friday night. And I did mention it a few times to people.
Wow. Well, now lots of people will also hear it as well. So
I'm not allowed to mention it again after Pinfest. Okay, but I was walking about like this with this big lump, and I couldn't drink or eat, which is quite unreal. It's not often else I can't eat, but so I didn't participate in everything that Nerg offers. But it's a Saturday and Sunday, and there's lots of stalls and lots of people selling things. And as I said, we put the 40 pins on amongst quite a few of us, Northern Lights again, and Phil does. He puts on pie and peas for us in a pub, and sort of rents out a wee function room where all the arcade guys and pinball guys go. And this year Tony came up from.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he loved it.
It's good. There's a lot more talking and drinking, I would say. No, I was thinking it sounded like it's a beer fest. There's a lot more pinball as well, and there's a lot of newer people there. It's not actually pinballers as such that are there. There's a lot of new people getting introduced to it, as opposed to Pinfest, where it's all people who know their pinballs and they're there and sort of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. I think you make a good point about the social side, though.
Out all sorts of rubbish. I think anyone who met me at Nerg, I was holding my arm and.
You're still holding your head now.
I know, because it's still sore, Chris. I fell from a tail lift, landed on my head.
I don't think this is the last we've heard about this story.
No, I was worried about. I was Shabba this and Shimon. I don't know what I was saying, Shimon and stuff like this, and I was just
Shimon. What, like Bo Selector, Shimon?
Yes, I don't know what I was doing. See, again, I thought I was being funny, and
I would have laughed.
And every time I looked at anything to drink, I was feeling like being sick again. So I'll never mention it again, honest. But that was our disaster at Nerg. So the Clooney's, when we went to the Plague Blackpool one, I was driving because my husband had fallen down a flight of stairs.
What is it with you two? What's going on?
Honestly, and I had to drive, and the handbrake stopped working. It flew off. When we were driving.
Okay. So we got a van without a tail lift, and a tailor falling over and concussion, a tailor falling down the stairs, and a motor with no handbrake.
Really, we need more people to help us. We're old fuddy-duddies. We've also called and had a pinball land on. I'm going upstairs, and it's not like a sensible socket. It's just his feet that were hanging out at the bottom, it was.
Yes, like the Wicked Witch of the Wicked Witch of the East with her feet out under the house.
That was what Colin was like with this pinball on top of him. And
ruby slippers?
Yes, no, not that time. He sometimes wears them, but
Of course he does.
time.
that was for his 51st birthday.
Yes, it's completely on him. And his legs were just black with bruises, etc. He's had quite a few mishaps, and this is what I love about the pinball community. They always look after us when we get there. There was once we were going to Manchester, and he'd been really ill, Colin. I'm not going into any details, but he was in intensive care for quite a while, and he went down to play Manchester, and of course nobody let him do anything. They really looked after him, and we didn't take any pins that time. And I think it was Finn, who's Nigel Lunt's partner. She's a doctor. She just followed him around the whole time, telling him to sit down and to watch. It's quite a caring community. And when we got to Nerg, no one, they let us be. They put up our pins for us and took them down and put them back in the lorry for us and stuff like that. But yeah, we're definitely needing a few more people in Scotland to come and do. It's a shame, because that's what 15 years we've been playing pinball, and must be similar to everybody else. Is we're getting older. We need a lot more young people coming in who can throw these pinballs around without getting injured.
Yeah, they're not easy things to move, are they?
No.
Everyone must have a story. It's like when Wayne did his football rites of passage, and which is excellent. But there's got to be a pinball moving one in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has got a story about moving a pinball machine or trying to set a pinball machine up, or whatever the case may be. It's and everyone must have little techniques and little things that they do. Everyone's probably rested a pinball machine somewhere they shouldn't at some point, just to try and get it set up.
We've had quite a few mishaps. I'll not keep mentioning them though, because
you just touch your head again.
See, it is sore. No, I'm joking. It's a lot better. And we did David Dutton's there we were going on holiday to Whitby, and we stopped off at David Dutton's, and I had my first alcoholic drink, and it went down okay. So
since the bash?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Good.
You
were going to talk about the trophies?
Yes, talk about the trophies. We've got first, second, and third for the NBA. We've got Colin always tries to get the basketball on them. I think I can send you a photo, Chris. I don't know if I've sent you them. I put it on the forum. The photo.
No. Yes, we'll put a link on the forum here.
And we've got the child's one on the Sunday morning. Last year it was more impromptu. There was a couple of just younger kids hanging about. And we just gathered them all together to have a wee game, and we didn't really have a trophy. I think Daniel got one of his dad's calendars. I think that was
sure. And a bit of tablet.
A bit of tablet. Yeah, the Sugar Rush. So this year we've got a proper trophy, and we've always sponsored the best in show.
Yes, let's deal with that, because we got Chris's Johnny Mnemonic there.
Fantastic. I think people misconstrue that it's not the most expensive one there or the newest. It's one that we look for, the one that's got the most love in it.
It can't be the newest anyway. It's nice to see something restored, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Ski Jump, one of John Bateson's one, it's it's just so much love and attention that goes into the machine, and people have really looked after it and maybe polished it to high heaven for the show, and they're putting it on for look at mine. I mean, your Deadpool last year was a contender with your legs.
Well, yeah, thank you. It was a little bit new, to be fair. I think I've put a lot into it, but it's not like taking a 30-year-old machine and making it as good as new.
You put a lot into it. The judges, actually, it was on the list. There was quite a few that were on.
Nice to know.
Deadpool was on it, and it was definitely the one that's got the love, and who's someone who's put a bit of time. I love her care in it. They used to do it when Andy Highway did the pinball show. It used to have the best of the Sterns and the best of the Yams and stuff like that.
Sure.
We might go that road again, because there was a lot of pride for people getting a trophy for their machine just for looking good.
Well, it's nice to know you're keeping it. I think that's the thing we're doing up a machine. I've put a bit of love into a couple of machines, which I've ended up not keeping. So I think if you're going to keep it, like the Deadpool, then you don't mind putting
look at it. You've obviously, it's like if the car shows where people are definitely it's a pride and joy, and it is your pride and joy. Some of your pins.
It's like a car show, isn't it? My friend's got like a stag you like a stag, like the old, you know,
Uh-huh.
so they go to like this place where they got stags and MGs and all that. Oh, E-type Jags. Honestly, he loves. He's got toothbrushes, like Barbie doll toothbrush. You wouldn't even think, you can't even barely see the brush and in like the spokes, and he loves that. Loves that car.
When I can't see the word Johnny Mnemonic. I can see when I'm drunk, but not when I'm sober. He'd obviously put a lot of love into his machine. It was absolutely sparkling.
It was
one light out or anything. You know, it was just super. So, and the other trophy we've got this year for the first time is a ladies' trophy, and we're seeing it as a separate tournament for this year. I know there's a lot of the main competitions will have the best place female, but we're concentrating a wee bit more on the social side this year.
Yeah.
When I started playing pinball, there was very few women. There was maybe a few that hanging around at the bar with me, there was Kate Morris or Kate Rodwell Jackson. She was up there, you know, she was always in the top 10. She was very well as a girl. Janine.
I thought you were going to say she was always there. She was always at the bar.
No, she was a very good player. She still is. She still is a very good player. And now you've got quite a lot more women coming through, and you're hearing about it. There's Claire, there's Dan Bush, there's Phoebe and Effie, obviously, and Katie, and Lucy as well. They're all coming through. And we've got Lynn Cowan, who is on top of the Scottish League at the moment. So there's a lot more women, but I was still very wary. I can have a bit of a fuss pot. I like to include people I see hanging around, not knowing what they're doing or just on the periphery. And I'm still aware there's a few women that I don't think really know what's going on or who people are. And last year I was sitting outside, I think I was talking to Mandy and Dan and Vicky, and we thought, we're all sitting here having cheese. We should make this an event, not cheese wine. We should make this a bit of an event.
There's a lot of cheese and wine events already, to be fair. Yeah.
It's more of a cheese and wine social this year type thing. It's just to gather up some people who maybe don't know each other. And we're going to make it a bit of fun, and we are bringing wine, and it's going to be an NBA, and there will be a competition and a trophy, but we're hoping to just make some of the women feel more included, and want to play more, and not just sit in the swimming pool or sit outside, but actually get to know some of the others that are there, because that's how I felt confident to play.
Yeah.
I think next year we'll get world ranking points and make it a proper.
I'm bringing my dress and my blonde wig, and I'm going to get my nails done at the spa thing as well.
Right,
so
okay.
I'm signing myself up.
I hope I'm not being sexist. I hope I'm not being sexist. It's just that I think it's not
sexist.
I'm looking for doing a bit of fun, a bit of banter, but I'm hoping to make it easier for women to be there, and including maybe some of you who want to bring their partners, maybe, or if you've got a female partner, to bring them along. And also just a bit of encouragement and a bit of a laugh and a bit of wine. And Dan Bush will make sure there's a bit of a laugh going on there, and we're just having fun. What we're going to call it, Brides of Pinball or something.
Well, I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Women who flip, but I think some of the guys will say, they flip off the chart a wee bit. But it's going to just we've got some women in mind who we know don't really know anybody that we're targeting to come and join us and have a laugh, and then go out, and we'll get out for stall ball, for instance, and by then we'll have a couple of wines and we'll know everybody.
Yeah. Well, you can wait in line as they go past you on stall ball. As you're handing out the tablet, any ladies, you can say, "Here you go, come and join the
tournament."
The brides of Pinball.
It will be a tournament, and there is a trophy for it, and I will get much more serious next year, I think. And so it's not that I'm not taking it serious, because I know there's the ladies' leagues all over the place, and Kate, I know, has played in some women's tournaments, and I'm taking advice from her, and some people have been really helpful about how to get the world ranking points registered and stuff. But this year I just thought, no, let's get to know each other a wee bit more and have a bit of a social and a wee chat, as opposed to doing it out in the courtyard.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm sure with the ranking points. Well, Wayne is basically El Presidente, isn't he, of UK pinball? He's basically the ambassador. of UK pinball or whatever. I've got the name wrong. He'll help out with all that, won't he?
As soon as I said that, I was going to do a ladies' trophy, see the amount of guys that are offering to help and give me advice, but how to do it properly next year, but also to make sure that there's enough machines separate in the room and they'll take them in for me and stuff like that. But we just decided.
So sorry, just to clarify. So where are you going? What machines will you be playing on? I read this on a post the other day. You're just going to be playing in a general area.
No, we'll be playing in that separate room with the MBAs.
You're going to play in the MBA room. Okay, brilliant.
7:30 on the Friday night, so that's the warm up. So by the time stall ball comes on, we should be finished. And we'll still know everybody's name. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them that are very sociable and know each other, but there's a couple of women in the periphery that I think need to be brought into the fold, brought into the pinball community, and get a laugh and someone to talk to, and then hopefully the pins will be there and we'll get them having fun and play a bit.
What about the name badges? Just before we go, what about the name badges? That was a really good idea last year because there are many people who go to Pinfest on their own. And yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. Somebody they might have spoken to on the forum, but they might not recognise their, might not have your picture on your avatar, so they might not know who they are.
Pinball did it for Play Manchester once, and it was the Pinball Info name. I'm dead boring on the Pinball Info. I've just Ailsa. But there's some names that you just don't know who they are when you're speaking to them, and you've maybe had quite in-depth conversations or a great deal of help from each other. So
yes,
we're hoping that it'll get people talking, because the social side of Pinfest.
So you're still doing that with the labels, yeah? Brilliant.
Yes, still doing that. I think Dan Ball, she's got a lot of the kind of stickers and stuff. So I'll go round again and pester people. Have a bit of tablet. Have a name, Dan.
Write your name down. Have a bit of tablet. There you go.
What's your name? You want to come and play?
Yeah. No, honestly, there's so many things, and you're a massive part of Pinfest and things like that. It's just massively helpful. It is such a welcoming hobby, and I'm not suggesting that other hobbies aren't. I don't know. Maybe the car shows are like that or whatever. I don't know, but it is really inclusive, and it's great. It's a great thing, Pinfest. It brings everybody together, doing all of these things. People putting events on, like you're doing with all of this, like you're doing with the NBA, the ladies' tournament, all the Northern Lights guys going down there. Tim doing his streaming, Wayne and Paul putting on the tournaments, Neil's doing his stall ball. Obviously, Phil bringing it all together and hosting the event. There's just so much stuff keeping busy there. It is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'll take you back to what you said at the start of the video, though, about sitting down and taking some weight off your feet. That was the one thing that I think that really shocked me last time, having spent whatever it was, 3 or 4 days at Pinfest. To take your time, do have a break, do have a sit down, take the weight off your feet, and just take yourself out and have a sit down in the lobby or something, because it is knackering, isn't it?
Skechers are probably the best. I saw Dan Bradford, Dr. Dan, coming with fluffy slippers once. So yeah, watch your feet. Although it's a carpet, it's still your feet are killing you, and your wrists. I've seen people getting hand massages and stuff, and doing the competitions and stuff like that. I was going to tell you a quick story about the NBA. My husband won it one year in Manchester, and we're dead chuffed he got the trophy. And I mentioned he was ill, and
yes.
he wasn't. He'd been really, really unwell, and he went back the following year, and he went to defend his title. And guess who took it from him?
Tell us. Oh no, ruthless! You didn't get him his pool table. You chucked a pinball on the stair when he was on the stairs at him, and now you've taken his trophy.
I know, and it was husband and wife in the final of the NBA.
I would have liked to have filmed that. I tell you,
it was quite funny. It was quite funny, and I wasn't. I was thinking that's a shame. The poor soul's just out of hospital. I better let him play. Let him win, but accidentally I managed to get a couple of extra basketballs than his. He never let me bring it down, and I got a slightly bigger trophy than his as well that year, so it sits above him in the games room.
I do hate it when you accidentally get an extra couple of baskets more than your opponent and a bigger trophy. Yeah.
So that was my claim to fame. That was my trophy that I won. It's pride of place.
A trophy, a trophy. It's not. That's the ultimate. That's the dream for me. So I'm already jealous of you both. You're obviously a family of winners. Quite frankly, Ailsa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for letting me come on and talk about the NBA and, as I said, the ladies' tournament. For various reasons, I hope it's a success this year. So, and we'll do the world ranking points next year.
Well, bless her. You do an awful lot of pinball. You're heavily involved in the community. Thank you. Everything that you do at Pinfest and everything you do for Scottish pinball, certainly. Or Sparks, as we or arse or whatever we're calling it, which is really good.
Like Scottish pin ass.
Scottish pin ass. I like it.
Scottish pin ass. I think that's the way it was. The way the landlord said. I like it. Do you see what's going on there with that? So
I actually want one of those t-shirts. As
I think Vicky's organising the t-shirts for Diane and Chasey and I for the ladies' tournament. So we'll see what they come up with. But,
well, my great granddad was Scottish. He was a McScrivens, so I reckon I probably qualify for the Scottish.
Good bloods. Yeah.
There you go. Thanks so much.
And there's loads of Scottish people coming down this year. Some newbies as well. So I'm really chuffed at that.
I think it's going to be a good one. Last year was the tester after COVID. I felt some people didn't go because they were still a little bit tentative, understandably. We'd all been scared shitless and had been stuck inside for the best part of a year. But now I think everyone's more used to going out and enjoying themselves. So hopefully it'll be I've certainly haven't spoken to Phil. I think has been busy with the uptake. The hotel rooms were booked quite a while ago as well. So I think it's going to be a really, really big event. Hopefully record numbers at playing in the tournament, record numbers in attendance. Should be an awful lot of fun. So I look forward to seeing you there and getting fed. We'll get pissed, yeah. And if I'm not fed some tablet, I'll be most disappointed.
Thank you.
My pleasure. We'll catch up with you soon.
Bye.